This 5'2" lady had a short film career beginning in 1957 and ending by 1962, yet she starred in many films that are still loved today. As a child, she dreamed of being a dancer and began doing so at age 4. But real stardom would have to wait. She would become a star in B movies at the age of 24, and less than 5 years later, after starring in 8 films and appearing on a handful of TV shows, she mysteriously left the industry, never to act on TV or films again. Some people even tried to connect her disappearance to the JFK assassination. Today I present a 13-minute, totally incomplete biography of June Kenney. She was born June Claire Kenney on July 6, 1933 in Boston, Massachusetts, the only child of Frederick and Edna Kenney. She grew up in the town of Malden, Massachusetts, where her father was a builder and a plumber. June's mother adored Shirley Temple and most likely saw some of Shirley in her talented daughter. At age 4, June was taking dance lessons and participating in local shows, singing and dancing. She also appeared on local Boston radio, like on radio station WEEI on the show R.H. White's Children's Hour. Dancing was my first love well before I thought about drama, although I enjoyed going to the movies when I was a young girl and later on being in films. I guess I was always part of the industry in some way. Pupils of Miss Ruth Swan presented their annual song and dance review last evening in the Browns Junior High School auditorium. One of the feature performers was June Kenney, young dancer who has received tryouts in the movies. She appeared in a specialty Dutch dance, a toe dance, and a song number. June Kenney with her trophy. The 4-year-old daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Frederick J. Kenney, Malden, received a cup from Mayor Tobin on Boston Commons on recognition of her selection as the most beautiful girl on a recent Central Labor Union cruise. On the right is John B. Haggerty, president of the Allied Printing Trades Association. Behind her is her mother. Pretty June Kenney IV of Malden, Mass. has been awarded a movie contract and may possibly replace Shirley Temple in the hearts of movie fans. Little Shirley, you know, is growing up fast and will soon be too big for little girl parts. Movie scouts picked June, who passed all scene tests with flying colors, and she wasn't all that camera shy, even when reciting. According to the press book for Earth vs. the Spider, she appeared in several short films in New York. I haven't found anything to back that up. IMDb has a Little Rascals short, Beginner's Luck, but I have my doubts that she is actually in that film unless this is her. She was, however, offered a studio contract with Warner Brothers. But her father, thinking that she was too young, as well as not wanting to leave his construction business, refused to travel across the country to Hollywood. Eventually, however, the New England winters got too much for her parents, and, in 1949, they moved to Southern California and eventually to West Hollywood. In California, she attended the Malden School of Dance, a prominent school in which Shirley Temple and Judy Garland had attended, and continued to act in small plays. In high school, she worked as an usherette at Grauman's Chinese Theater, attended the Hollywood Professional School, acted in small plays, and appeared on TV. Ben Fox comedian, Harriet Prince toe dancer, Rochier Sylvester singer, Anne Marie Woodridge vocalist, and June Kenney tap dancer start off the new 13-week cycle of Bob Shannon's Varieties, KTTV 11, at 8. It was during one of the plays she was in that Walter Kohner noticed her. Walter was the brother of Paul Kohner. Paul was an Austrian-American talent agent and producer who managed the careers of many famous stars. June got a small role in the TV show Boston Blackie in 1952. She followed that up with 2 film appearances, Has Anybody Seen My Gal in 52, in which she was one of a group of dancers, and Sweethearts on Parade in 53, in which she had one line. But her big break was going to be in a new 1954 television soap opera named My Sister and I, which was to star Robert Hutton and Adele Mara, but the show never went into production. I read for the part and got it. I was thrilled. I was on top of the world. I began getting myself prepared for it, and several weeks later I got a call saying they decided against doing the show. That was one of my biggest disappointments in my career. But she started appearing on other shows, such as The Loretta Young Show and Public Defender.
Doesn't it seem like a million years until tonight?
Yeah.
Wait till you see my new dress. Oh, it's dreamy.
Sure.
What's the matter? Why are you so droopy?
Hi, sis.
I wish you'd be more careful with your shirts. This is the fourth I borrowed this week.
You know, you're going to make some guy a great husband.
You're not funny, Bob. Not funny at all.
There was a short religious film called City Story as her TV work continued and she began appearing in commercials. Her real film career began when she met Roger Corman. Roger put her in the film Teenage Doll, directed by Bernard A. Kowalski and produced by Roger's brother Gene. June played the lead role of Barbara Bonney, a good girl accused of murdering a jealous rival.
If I have to strip myself bare, if I have to embarrass you as well as myself, I will. You said I could always come to you anytime, Val. That I was a new kind of girl for you and that you'd fight the world if it was against me.
Some of the young players on the screen have key roles in films, one of which introduces a bright new star in her first major appearance. The newcomer is June Kenney, a beautiful blonde who stars with Faye Spain and John Brinkley in Teenage Doll, a shocking entertainment story of teenage crime and juvenile gangs. She is marked for death by a mob of young hoodlums. Miss Kenney is outstanding as the girl who is trapped in the whirlpool of killing and brutality, and the remainder of the cast also turns in an exceptional performance. Roger was so impressed he cast her in a couple more films. The Saga of the Viking Women and Their Voyage to the Waters of the Great Sea Serpent, Sorority Girl, and Hot Car Girl. When asked if Roger was an influence on her career, June responded, "Oh yes, I want to say that it was Roger who really got me started in the business and I want to thank him for it. He gave me the opportunity. He would call my agent to tell him about what picture he was shooting and Roger would ask for me. He made me feel that I had promise and potential to go on. I was quite lucky to have had Roger there early on." From Corman, she moved on to Bert I. Gordon. Bert cast her as the female lead in two 1958 horror films, Attack of the Puppet People and Earth vs. the Spider. When asked about Puppet People, she said, "Bert did a wonderful job with making this picture seem as though it had a bigger budget. Quite impressive for the budget it had. The special effects and all the large props were very well done and convincing." But after 1958, things seemed to slow down for the 25-year-old. B drive-in films were going away, so June focused more on television and began appearing on the radio. Practicing their puckers for the KLAC Cody Thrifty Dog Kissable Lips contest that opened last week, our would-be contestants, left to right, June Kenney, Judy Rossi, and Moonyi Martini, with KLAC disc jockey Dick Hines.
I got away from him. Thank heavens I got away from him. Bob tried to break it down. He couldn't. Then I heard him drive away. I got out of the restroom and saw when he attended that poor boy.
She did appear in a few more films. An uncredited part in Jerry Lewis's The Ladies' Man, Cat Burglar, a film produced by Gene Corman, and Bloodlust with Robert Reed in his first credited film role. When asked about Robert Reed, who seemed like he would rather not be in the picture, she responded, "In between scenes he would make it known that he would rather have not been in this kind of picture. Again, maybe we all felt out of place a bit in this film. With me at least, I'd gotten to the point where I would ask myself, why am I doing this kind of picture? We all gave it our best shot though. Then why was she in the film? It was almost a favor to Ralph Brooke, who put the film together and who wanted to produce and direct, that I did it. My agent left it up to me, of course, but did suggest I do it. He said, it certainly couldn't hurt. So I started screaming again."
He's been laughed at so much.
Yeah? You didn't have no trouble talking to me. You like to talk my arm off.
Well, you're the exception.
Now, am I wrong?
In a word, wow.
I'm here now. What do you want?
Jack, I'm your wife. I can't go on living with Pa, sneaking off to see you. I've kept it secret as long as I can.
But in 1962, she made the decision to leave acting behind. "I love everything I did, really, no regrets. I loved everything about being around the entertainment business. My little theater work helped me quite a bit. I'm sorry that I was never able to do some of the musicals that I hoped for. By the late 50s, musicals were starting to phase out. I wanted so much to dance with Gene Kelly." To some fans, her departure from Hollywood seemed mysterious. There were even rumors that her disappearance was somehow connected to the John F. Kennedy assassination. Karen Compsonette was an actress who worked with June on the film The Ladies' Man. The 22-year-old Compsonette was murdered 6 days after the Kennedy assassination. In 1967, a book was published connecting her, very loosely, to the JFK assassination. Eventually, some started connecting June Kenney's disappearance to that already weak connection. But of course, this was all nonsense. What actually did happen? Well, I always wanted to remain close to the business in some way, so I got a job at a radio station in Los Angeles, KLAC. I handled all the commercials that were broadcasts. Come to think of it, I may have been working there at the time I did the Bonanza episode. I was thankful that I had something to fall back on. She admitted that even after she married Lee A. Sebastian in 1970 and moved to a horse ranch in Nevada, there was always the temptation to return to acting. But she decided she didn't like the types of films that were being made at the time, so she kept on working in radio. Later in life, she began doing commercials and voiceovers for local TV stations. She was inducted into the Nevada Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame in 1997. She remained married with her husband till his death in 1998. June Claire Sebastian died in Nevada on June 25, 2021 at the age of 87. In an interview with Tom Weaver in Cult Movie Magazine in 2004, actor Jay Sayer, who worked with June on the Corman films Teenage Doll, Sorority Girl, and The Viking Women, said this of June. She was about as un-Hollywood as you can get. She was a tiny thing, diminutive. And she was very sweet, very easy to work with, and a nice girl. You would never guess she was an actress. Personally, I would have liked to see June in more films, but I think she made the right decision as her life after Hollywood seemed to be a pretty good one. And one last thing, I wish I could have found some pictures of her later in life, but after 1962, there's nothing to be found.